There are obviously multiple communities along 30A that are very desirable, but what's the cost of living like in Grayton Beach? Stick around, we're going to give you all the information that you need to decide whether or not Grayton Beach is a good financial move for you. I'm AJ and this is
Andrew.
And we're local real estate agents here on the Emerald Coast. We are doing videos for you guys multiple times a week, everywhere from Pensacola to Panama City Beach and everywhere in between. All of our contact information is on the screen for you. If you would like to reach out to us, use any method that you like.
We'd like to thank all of our returning subscribers for coming back, watching this video. We hope you find it helpful. And of course, if you are a new subscriber or a new viewer and you want to be a new subscriber, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then ding that little bell so that you'll be notified every single time we do a new video.
Obviously, whenever we're talking about moving to a new area and what it's going to cost, one of the main things that we look at is the price of the property, right? Obviously, this is going to be the purchase that costs the most, whether you're paying cash or you're financing. Your mortgage is likely going to be the highest expense.
So when we're looking at the actual average prices here, these are going to change over time. So please keep that in mind. We are shooting this in January of 2023. So if you're watching this in 2024, 2025, something like that, these prices have likely gone up a little bit. But as of all of 2022, when we look at the average price of every home that sold in Grayton Beach, the average was approximately $3.5 million.
So why is Grayton Beach priced the way it is? Well, it's got one of the best beaches along all of 30A. It's my personal favorite beach. You've also got the Grayton Beach State Park, which is wonderful.
Lots of trails, lots of things to do out there, yeah.
Yes, you can go kayaking and take it all the way around or paddleboarding from the park and then have it actually connect to the Gulf. It's wonderful. It's one of the only places that you can get a parking permit for on the beach. And it's also the original kind of community for 30A. The Grayton Beach is where it all kind of started. So this is where you'll see some of the first restaurants. You know, you've got Red Bar and a bunch of funky little places right in there. It's got a very unique feel. It's very comfortable, laid back, funky, pretty natural still in its state, and lots of stuff to do, and just a very, very calm vibe.
Not to mention the entire area of Grayton Beach. Of course, this, I guess, goes with all of 30A, but Grayton Beach in particular, for me, is one of the most beautiful of the beaches, in my opinion. And of course, it doesn't hurt the Red Bar's out there, because that is probably my favorite restaurant to go to, or restaurant/bar. It is a very, very cool vibe. If you guys haven't been there yet, next time you're in Grayton Beach, for sure, definitely swing in. It's like all red inside, obviously, Red Bar. They've always got a live band or something going on. Well, not always, but almost always got something going on there. They've got some couches sitting right in front of it. So if you want to grab your cocktail, go over there, enjoy the band there. You've got inside, you've got outside seating, you've got a bar seating, you've got, just all of it. And the atmosphere is really cool. And the people in particular are so interesting. Every single time we go there, we meet somebody new, or I meet somebody new if I'm going there. Like, people are very talkative, they're very friendly, and it's just a really cool atmosphere.
Living in this area is super fun and cool, but you also have some different types of living. Maybe you want to be in a condo, or maybe you want to be in a house. Obviously, those price ranges are going to be significantly different. The lowest price point that we saw for last year was $650,000, and that was for a condo unit. So if you don't quite have the $3.5 million budget for a house, if a condo works for you, it might still be a super affordable area.
It's not the only thing to consider whenever you are purchasing a property. You also want to consider insurance and taxes, where it is Florida. We do get hurricanes, and our insurance right now, as we are shooting this video, is not super great. We've had a lot of companies no longer insure here in the state of Florida, so some people are getting dropped and having to move over to different insurance. They're not getting dropped completely where they don't have insurance. They're just saying, hey, you need to move somewhere else. So that's going into effect. So our insurance is a little bit higher than it was maybe, say, a year or so ago, but in all reality, most people people move down here, and once they get the insurance quote, they're like, oh, I was expecting it to be really bad. We're like 2 blocks from the ocean. I thought this was going to be much worse. But in all reality, it is very comparable to other parts of the country. In fact, oftentimes people move down here and think that it's cheaper. So, it's very hard to give a range when you've got a range of $650,000 to $10 million or whatever the highest sale was last year. I don't remember off the top of my head, but the range is going to be fairly wide. Just note that if it's in a condo, it is typically going to be a little bit more bang for your buck on the insurance there because you have less to insure. You're generally doing drywall to drywall, whereas a house or a townhome will be like kind of the next tier up, and then a house will be kind of a little bit more expensive from there. And then taxes here in our area are generally pretty reasonable as well. There's a millage rate. They just basically multiply that millage rate by what it sold for, and that's kind of how they reset it. There is a little bit more to it than that, but that's kind of a very big, very baseline sort of way to figure it out. Ultimately, again, most people come down here, especially from like Texas and California and New York, Tennessee. Those are like the 4 big ones that they'll come down here and they'll go, I cannot believe your guys' taxes are so low. And I think a lot of that is just because of the tourism here in the state. We do get a ton of money from tourism, which is why we don't have any income state tax too. So if you're looking to shelter some of your income, this is a great way to do it. Regardless of if you're paying cash or getting a loan on a property out here in Grayton Beach, the taxes and insurance are going to play a factor. And if you are curious what the current prices are, all of our contact information will jump on the screen here. You can reach out to us, call, text, email, carrier pigeon, throw a football with a note on it, however you want to get a hold of us. You can even comment down below. Just note that if we are going to send you up-to-date prices, we are probably going to ask you for your email. We won't spam you too much, but if you do want to get any of that information, let us know. And of course, if you are thinking about moving, give us a shout as well.
Another one of the common costs that we look at whenever we're considering moving somewhere is what are the groceries like? Is there going to be the kind of food that you want to eat, and how much is it going to cost? So these numbers are just kind of general numbers, not necessarily like I have a specific gluten intolerance, or we eat all organic and all vegan and non-GMO and all of these things. This isn't really going to pertain to those types of numbers, but just for kind of generic numbers, estimate about $450 per month per person who's on like a 2,400 calorie a day diet. That's about what you can estimate for your grocery consumption. Now, if you're paying Instacart or some other delivery service to get your groceries delivered to your place, like I do, because I don't have time to go grocery shopping.
So bougie.
I'm not bougie, I just don't have time. If you're going to have all your groceries delivered to you, there's obviously going to be some more fees to that. It'll save you a bunch of time, and a lot of times it's completely worth it paying that fee to have someone actually bring you all your stuff. You don't have to worry about going there, waiting in the lines, what have you. And I know for me, if I order the food, then I don't get a bunch of extra stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not walking down the aisles like, oh, maybe I need this, or maybe I need that, or this looks good. If I put it in a shopping list and I just send it to someone else to take care of, I'm only getting what I need, and I'm not getting distracted by other stuff.
The frozen pizza aisle or whatever. But yeah, it does save you a whole bunch of time, so that is going to be a little bit of an extra cost there. Another expense to consider, especially if you are going to be commuting, is going to be the gas prices. As of the time of shooting this, the gas prices were $2.73 per gallon. Please keep in mind that is going to, kind of go up and down as gas prices always do.
It might seem a little counterintuitive, but even though, the majority of the country is always like, what are gas prices at? What are gas prices at? But if you live on Grayton Beach, then the reality is you're not really going to be spending that much in gas, because you're probably going to be riding a bicycle or walking to go wherever it is that you're going, maybe like dragging a beach cart or something like that. But everything is so close in proximity that you're really not going to have a need to drive a whole lot unless you're working somewhere not in the 30A area. Even to go to dinners and such, you'll notice along 30A in its entirety, there isn't much parking anywhere. So in a lot of instances, you're going to be leaving the golf cart at home, leaving the car at home. Maybe you take an Uber if you're going like to the complete opposite side of 30A, or, maybe you just bring your bicycle. There's all kinds of places to park and lock up your bicycle wherever you're going along 30A.
So if you are going out and about, probably one of the things you're going to be doing next is maybe eating, whether it's going out for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. These prices are going to be something to consider. So you can expect most of your breakfast and lunch places, if you're not getting alcoholic beverages, you're not getting morning mimosas or something like that at Sunday brunch, you can expect about $20 per person for the most part. Of course, there will be some that are a little bit cheaper and some a little bit more expensive. And if you are going out for dinner, there is a wider range of this number. I wouldn't expect $20 per person anymore, even without drinks. I would expect that to bump up a little bit, especially if it's at a place that needs reservations, or you're going to, one of our, fancier restaurants out here on Grayton Beach or one of the surrounding beaches. And this can range, pretty widely. So just keep that in mind, especially if you guys are going to be drinking. It's not uncommon for there to be a $200 or $300 bill for a couple of people. So factor that into your cost of living as well.
One of the most amazing things about, the 30A area in general I want to touch on, and this pertains to Grayton Beach because it's kind of right in the middle, and so it's highly likely that you're going to end up in one of these neighboring beaches anyways. But since we're talking about, dinner costs and such, while there is some amazing fine dining here in the area, you don't have to dress up super fine to go.
It's like one of the best parts.
Yeah, you can go there just comfortable clothes and fit right in. The idea is kind of that you don't have to dress fancy to deserve great tasting food. So if you really enjoy just a high value meal, but you don't necessarily want to plan a whole date around it, maybe you just want to set it up, you're going to go after a beach day, maybe you got a sunburn going on and you don't want everybody looking at you weird, 30A dining is wonderful for this.
And of course, you do have the option if you want to dress up, get fancy, and enjoy the night out. You can definitely do that, and it won't be any more weird than wearing flip-flops and some nice khaki shorts and a Tommy Bahama shirt or something.
You so bougie.
I know.
We've done other videos where we talk about how 30A in general has everything that you need, and I even mentioned it earlier in this video. And childcare is no exception to that rule. There are plenty of options for childcare, whether you want to do a sort of school type setting or if you want a nanny, but there are going to be vastly different costs depending on what type of childcare you want to do. If you're going to go with a sort of school type setting and pay by the month, then if you're looking at 4 days a week, it's going to be around $850 per month. And if you're looking at a full 5-day-a-week schedule, then it's $950 per month. Now, if you only need a little bit of help, maybe you're like me, you're doing the homeschool thing while simultaneously working your career and you just need maybe a day, or there are specific meetings that you really can't have the little one around interrupting you during, there are options for hourly childcare. There are nannies that will absolutely come out to your location. They charge about $27 per hour. You're going to want to tip them as well, though, if you want to have the same person continuously, just because, happy people return to the people that make them happy, and money is a strong motivator. So $27 an hour for a sort of flat rate, and just anticipate a little bit of a tip on top of that, of course, depending on how they perform. But you've got multiple options there as far as your child care concerns.
Now, another really big expense to consider when you're moving, especially from a different state, is the healthcare. Healthcare ranges extremely wide across different states, and of course, Florida's kind of the same way. So if you are, let's say, a 27-year-old adult, you can expect to pay approximately $350 per month in, of course, good condition, things like that. And of course, if you're around 40 years old, it would be approximately $430 per month. And if you're around 60 years old, approximately $900 per month. Now, obviously, these are general estimates. There are 100 things that go into this, but it's just to kind of give you a little baseline. Okay, cool. Do I think mine's going to be less or more? You can kind of adjust that in your budget before you move down so that you've just got a good idea of where it's going to land.
And speaking of healthcare, there are a lot of options out there because I know that there's a bit of a population out there for not having health insurance. And there are a lot of options along 30A for you if you're one of those folks that's like, nope, I'm not going to pay for health insurance. I'll just pay cash whenever I have an issue. There are some naturopaths, chiropractors, and other medical folks in the area that will absolutely accept cash. You don't have to pay with insurance. Some of them don't accept a lot of the different insurances that are out there. I would definitely consider, if you you have any underlying issues that you currently pay insurance for and you currently see a provider, a specific specialist or provider for, make sure that in our area we have the same providers for you and that they accept the insurance company that you're currently using. You might have to switch companies or providers, and that could increase or decrease your rates.
Those are kind of the main buckets that we're throwing a lot of these cost of living things in. Obviously, there are a bunch of other costs that you're going to have to consider. But from you moving somewhere else to here, it shouldn't change all that much. 30A or Grayton Beach in particular is not that much more expensive than anything else. You shouldn't see any minor nuances there. If you guys do have any questions on anything else, maybe we didn't cover something that's important to you, please reach out to us. Again, we're going to throw all of our information on the screen. And of course, you can comment down below. You can reach out to us on social media. You can do however you want to get a hold of us. Go ahead and reach out to us, and we'd love to help if you do plan on moving to the Grayton Beach area.
See y'all at the next one.